Good afternoon. Welcome to the Miss Tacpans show. You see, this is her first time up here. She hasn't been up at the mic yet, and I'm going to do all the talking for her. And she's a little shy, and she's shy with me, even though she is the X-Man and she's a V and full of life. She's a ha. She's the laugh. It's a ha 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 laugh. The laugh of the life. Ha V. Javi. The laugh of the life. The corners, okay, and the angles of the corners of the entire world is the lion L. What is a lion L? Well, you see all these lines, okay? When you go this way and this way, one of each, to be fair, each line will make an L. And these are corner L's, okay? So you have one here and one here. This is not closed and this is not closed. That means this corner and this corner are open because God is putting in and receiving. He's throwing and receiving. God is the catcher and the pitcher because he runs the beta world, so he's got to run both ends. But he's not the machine. We're the machines. We come in here, we have to build the land of God. So I was looking at the Torah before, and what did I want to talk about? Oh, I have a lot planned, but let me get back to Miss Tacpans, and I'm going to do this slowly. You know, this is not supposed to be the perfect world, and the stories I tell are not the perfect explanation for a twisted mind and a twisted YOURANTIA that every single you that you sacrifice always comes back home, because all yous have a tail, and it's only the tail that counts. You see, when you go to the bathroom and you start, that is the head of it. But until it all comes out, you can't close the door on your rear end, you can't sweep up, and you can't shut your pants. So the tail of it all is what came out last, is your last thoughts, because that's what made it to the bottom, making everybody aware. Now, one of the things about the rain, I'm going to jump around here, is imagine this is a circle, okay? This is the rain, it cuts through the circle. Now the reason the rain comes that way is because the matrix strands, okay, are this way, and it's the only way to connect, and I'm going to show to you why. I'm going to do it easy. We're going to do it this way. See, you got a spiral. Now, if everything was spiraling, right, and lines were going straight, look what happens. Your straight line misses 2 points, right? Now, if this straight line talks to the other straight line on this side, it has an open end, okay, right here. But on the other side, it has a D shape. This ends up to be the E. This becomes the D. E world, and this is the corner of creation, but it's the first corner you went around in the E world, is what brought the tail to the top like a seed in the ground, and it created the life. So what you have to do, because it's this world, you put everything on that line, and everything on that line. Okay, now we got it all entrapped. Now you put your clothes on a hanger, okay, you pin it up, and you push it away. Okay, now these lines, the reason for these lines like this is because God was alone. And if he's alone, he created the four corners alone. So every time you make lines like that, in all actuality, you're always creating the four corners, because you don't see what's at the end of the line. It's the goal that's the end of the line. It's always the goal, because look, once you put a hat on it, now you've connected every single wire going both ways, and you connect to the core of creation. Now, other things to know about is eating the apple. Okay, and the reason for eating the apple, okay, if I can show you, is because this is the eye of life. Okay, it goes around, it's an energy, it's growing from within. It's the apple. You can find this basically on the King of Spades. Do I have a King of Spades? Hey, cards. None of my cards have legs. They can't walk. I look for a card. Hey, come on. Come on. I have a queen. I have a 7. So we'll leave that out. Okay, for now. So I'm back on this side. So now this, okay, is your lifeline. It's 1, and inside it's an O. 10, you have 10, and the one spirit of the seed is 11. So just in one angle, you have 11. Okay, now this is like a knot on the tree that ties things up. And the 11 is the same thing as that knot. Knot what? Nautical miles. Not now. I have a knot. But the knots we don't see at the most are the dot knots, like the dawn knots, okay? Dawn knots and dot knots are actually dots because the black dot equals to a daughter. Daughter means angel. Dot, tear. She is a dot on this earth, okay? And she's a tear in the mind of the earth, inside the mind where Rain Man sits. Like I said, okay? He's wet and cold, so if you cry and you have feelings, he'll dry up again because your tilt will change. You will rise X-Man to the top where you can continue to get the information. And if you block it by reading, you go and you get a flyer. And if you get overexcited for that flyer and what's on sale and you run out to buy, you have just canceled out the connection between the corners. Because the important thing is, go out to get what you need to regulate, to fix. Do not do what you do not need to do, okay? And if it's for enjoyment, watch how and which way you go towards and approach the enjoyment you're searching. Because in this life, your enjoyment, everybody wants to live. We all want to live. So there must be a joy in living. We want to play the sports. We want to win. Well, win and won are the same thing. It's just like a wing and a wang, okay? Because the wing and the wang, okay, is the I birth and the angel birth of the neutralization in God. And what God means, okay, the G letter, is actually created from other letters. And God is actually AC/DC. Why? Because his first connection was the A to the C, and the C created the fourth angle, entrapping the B inside of them. So inside A, B, C, D, A and C is odd, B and D are even. But the D, okay, is the negative return of the even of odd God. You follow me? Even, odd. If you tell me 1, the first thing I'm going to think of is 0, and then -1. So now I have 0 to 1, and then from 1 to 0, and then from 0 to 1, and 1 back to 0. 10, 10, 101. Computer language. Because you have to talk, you have to receive. When you receive, you act. It's an action. You are computerized. It's in the computer. The computer will listen to whatever this God tells it. These fingers and this mind is the God of writing on this computer. Okay? The I world with a small dot, because we are the capital that runs the I of communication in our own world of light. Now, if you want to lose an eye, well, don't do it right. Anyways, what's next? What's next? There's a whole lot of stuff on the agenda. I was talking about golf balls. I don't know if you heard it in my other video. Every time you pick it up, it is passed in the wind, so it picks up an element in the wind, sometimes to correct itself. If you pick up the ball when you are not supposed to, okay, the replacement of that ball in the ground will not be the same as it was before, changing everything. Now, don't forget, that ball fell out of an air that pushed it to a balanced decision. So when it lands, okay, that balance is there. Now, you have to understand about a golf ball, different from this, okay, is that when you make it, it starts off on something. But the something it starts off on was already made before. So no matter what you do, there's always going to be a separation in the golf ball. So right from the beginning of the golf ball, there's already a separation, okay? Now, the other separations on the golf ball is in between all the dots, there's actually a surface to stay, like the moon. You can stay on the surface, or you can go into the dots. Well, since there's mostly dots and hardly any surface, what are we going to do? We may as well jump into the ocean and live on the inside. Protect ourselves from the holes on the outside. Because what is a hole on the outside is an indentation on the inside. And that has to do with us and our sun and LED light. The reason that the sun can do what it's doing when it forces the elements of light upon us. And now I'm going to jump off from golf to the light. Now, will I remember golf? Let me see. I'll write it down. Golf game. But now what I was going to talk about before, now I forgot, so I have to go back to the golf game. Yeah. So anyways, we were creating the golf ball, right? Now, I'm not finished, because I counted it once. I want to do it again. Okay? But what I'm going to tell you, okay, is they put a stitching on everything. And then the ball comes to a machine, and they put the name on it. Now, is the ball being taken and placed and put down, or do they let the ball roll before the game begins? If they let the ball roll before the game begins, the natural element and weight of that ball will always pull that ball, okay, on its offside to come even. Almost like leaning on something. Although it's round, it's not leaning on anything. Well, the names they put on it, okay, are another mark of an ending. It means there's a tail. So when you want to use a golf ball, you always want to put, can I show you it? You see the name? You always want to hit the name like this. Like this. You don't want to hit against the name like this. Hitting against the name in the natural elements of the universe will always cause the name to swing one way or the other way. Because if you swing with the name, you are going with life. If you go against the grain, you're going against life. And in golf, you must go against life because it's the only game you can fly. It's the only game you can have a birdie and an eagle. It's the only game you can have 18 holes, okay, and end up still back at the clubhouse in section 19, the one spirit of birth, where it all began. So you golf 27 holes, and 2 and 7 is 9. You had enough. You had a child, because when you golf that, okay, 2 per 2, 1.5, you get 18 holes is 72, and 9 holes is 36. You get a total of 108, and the 108 total is a separation and expression of who you are in the game. 10-8, go look in the CB codes, but 108 are 2 decks of cards, and it means love. So you played with the ball in the air. You had the ball in the stick, and the air, and the hole. You made a creation: ball, stick, air, hole. Ball, stick, air, hole. You understand? The ball in our head, the sickness, is the air hole. Something in the air that's eliminated when it passes through the ground or passes through something. Now I'm trying to think of this, a new kind of filtration system for our cars would be put radiators in that contain an element, okay, to clean your exhaust. Put charcoal in this. Why do I say this? Because when you go by, when you live in the country and the water's not so good and it stinks and there's too much elements, you need to separate it. Well, why can't we do that to the back end of our cars? That'll solve all the problems. And I know it can be done. I'm 100% sure, because the universe did it. But why doesn't it work with us? Because we breathe all the air, every element in the air, mixing up the totality of the human we are because of what we put into the world, all our machines. Our machines and Beta's machine, well, Beta's machine, it reads our machine because it has to. It's us. It reads it through us and through the machine. The vibrations the machine makes, you know, the way man built it. This on the bottom here, the spirit is in all corners, okay? Although it's smaller here, it's larger on the side because it's a balance. The yellow is the energy that creates the orange light, but we're only creating life. The orange light comes up here. First it's green, because you need life. Green, the air, okay? And recycling turns everything green. And green will recreate the passage of the sun. Excuse me. So now we have the Hanukkah candles. We have 4 candles here. Here I didn't darken it in. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. The center candle, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 4 for 1 for 4. So license plates and everything you see of 3 letters are all explanations, because I, okay, R, C, U. All I used is 4 letters. There's a letter before or after each one of our consonants. They're an expression for the world they were made to be used in, or from the world it was created in, or for the world that from where it was created, it used these letters. So the letters are the backbone of all creation, because the letters and the sticks and the stones are all together. A stone means, okay, this is it. This X is a stone. It's its life. Its life is a stone. Whether you're a human or an animal, whatever it is, you're a stone, you are something. Okay? The paper and paper, scissors, rock. Okay? The paper and the scissors, why they cut is because the paper is actually filaments of a tree. Okay? The paper is filaments of a tree. So when you cut the tree, you're cutting the strands of YOURANTIA in death. You see, in life and in death, we always know that if the 6 is on the bottom of the dice and the 1 is on the top, the 1 element on top. So man, 6 islands, and God, okay, are opposite of the 1. So this, one of the dice goes here and the other position goes in the bottom. Now you have to have an inlet and an outlet, and your only life survival inlet, okay, are your nose and your mouth in the front. You have 2, but you have 3. But your rear end, butt end, okay, it's like a channel because all the lines go in, okay? The lines go in, so it's like a channel. So the 1 dice and the 6 dice connect your mind to your ass, and when you die, the last thing that comes out is a little tail of poop based on what your last thoughts were. Now, if everybody thinks just going to the bathroom is just like that, when you have diarrhea, you got a problem. Because what happens is when you go to the bathroom and you don't have diarrhea, okay, there's a sac that's created that everything goes in. You can pick that up without it falling apart. Well, that sac has to go out your rear end. Now, if you ever noticed on your rear end, there's lines. So when you push it out, okay, the harder you push, the more distorted these lines and scribbled they will get inside. The medium you push, then the ass lines will be marked like you have the fingerprints right on the shit that went out. Mixing up with everybody else's shit, it accumulates and says exactly how the world is going, and then God will implement some sort of scheme to correct this of the yin and the yang. Because me, I'm a great guy and I want to be fair, right? So I got a piece of wood. Now on each end of the piece of wood is something else. I got one piece of wood here, and let's say I got one here. And I say to myself, oh my God, well, you won't do it this way. I say, oh my God, so come on, I can't put anything up there. Okay, we'll work it with 1 dice in the center then, okay? So I'm going to be fair to that dice, because here on the dice, this edge is up. But when I do this, this edge is up. When I do this, this is pointing towards you. When I do this, the other's pointing. So that's the yin and the yang and everything. You must, okay, go around in a circle to come back to the beginning so you can restart your engine every single time. It is us. If you don't go home, you'll never be home. If you go back to where you were, that's where you are. You are where you were, and you're returning to where you were, so you are good where you were. That's why you return. You do not return to where you are not good. So this is the stick, and on this stick it says, cutting the ties of YOURANTIA, money, sticks, rabbit, vibration, sprint, bucket, jack, 4 sticks. Oh my God. I got to write all this down because it's complicated, but it's good. I got a lot of new stuff. I got some words, like the word envy. All you have to do is mark an N and a V, and you got the totality. So what I'll do is I'll use just those 2. N and V is the 14th letter of the 5th passage, and V is the 22nd letter of the 4th. So you have the 4 inside the 5, and it works together with NV. Now you add them together. The V is 22, the N is 14. They total 36. It's the 3 creation of God. Understand? I used to say it's the 3 creation of man, but it's actually the 3 creation of God. God became 7 when he put the dot of the Spirit connect. Then he became 7, and we all gained 1. We're going to end it right here. I do have a lot more. I hope I can get it in. Okay. The never-ending, this and this are exactly the same. Here I showed you the high formation, the mountains down here. Everything works above the mountains and in the valleys. Because when you go into a valley, okay, there's a V. Okay, if there's a V, it means there's a line. And if there's a line, there's a passage for the elements of spirit. Spirit is a... I'm not going to explain the whole thing because I don't know which and what you might believe, and I don't know how you're going to think. So anybody who does is a churchgoer and prays and all this, well, you might know a little bit more than most. And one thing about monopolies I wanted to go to is that 2 doubles you're okay, but the 3rd double you go to jail. Well, because in the 3rd double you have created creation. Double, double, double. So you doubled up on everything. 2, 4, 6. You doubled up. Now if you double up 6 again, you got 12, which is 1, 3 creation. You pass the 10. You can't pass the 10 because you're only made up of 6, besides the lines and the dots. Another thing is, A regular small dot means there's a bigger dot on the outside. This small dot, okay, has been created. What we're going to put in it and what we're going to do with it is another story. So you have the big dot around it. Let's say the color is red. If the color is red, you know it's the one spirit. That black dot will become the one spirit, okay? But they won't use a red. They might use another color, okay, to connect to another color and then connect the red spirit, so they connect to the two spirits, so they divide them evenly between the angel and man from the Spirit of God in the heavens of YOURANTIA. Back to golf balls, okay, there are, I think, 342, I have to count that again. 3 plus 4 is 7, 3 plus 2 is 5, both odd, 4 plus 2 is 6, 4 plus 7, 4 plus 3 is 7. Forget about that. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24. Okay, that's man. Okay, and that's the doubles. So in Monopoly, when you get 2 doubles, let's say you get 6 and 6, you have 12, which makes creation. You get 6 and 6 again, it makes 12 creation. Okay, if you go 6 and 6 again, it makes 12 creation. So you add them up, 3, 6, 9. You got 9. It's a birth. Okay, if you had 4, 4, 4, it'd be 12. It's a 13. It's a 3. It's a birth. If you had 5, 5, 5, it's 15. It's a 6. Okay, and all these dice that I'm talking about and the numbers I'm telling you, I know you're not going to really understand, but this in roulette and in craps, these numbers have the payoffs that explain the creation of life. Okay, so in Monopoly, okay, this is a game of 5, 10, 5, 5, 5. Wait a second. What am I explaining? I'm explaining where the train tracks are. But for the corner of God, it's a 10, 10, 10, 10 world. From go to jail to jail to from go to jail to money to jail to go. 10, 10, 10. Okay. And what happens in this 10, 10, 10, okay, is we have something about before, because it repeats. We only can go before in the beta world. 1 corner, 2 corners, 3 corners, 4 corners. Okay. Now, in between all the corners are all train tracks for transfers, because they're all the 5th position. And the 6th position, okay, well, it's the center of the board where all the action takes place. Isn't that right? The center of Monopoly, you throw the dice. Where do you throw them? On the floor, outside the door. Open the window, hon. We're playing Monopoly. Kids are going out to play. I'm throwing my dice out the window. They're going to call the numbers if you don't believe me. So you throw the dice out the window. The guy says, 82. 82. What the hell's 82? Well, you got 2 dice that got 8. So do you have 10 or do you have 8? Well, you have both. But on the game, you only can put the 8. The other 2 are come out of your hands that you threw the dice. It's the dice count. 1, 2 dice. Okay, we're ready to go. Anyways, when you put the 3 doubles in a row, okay, what happens is we're going to replace 3 doubles in a row with 3 dice. Okay? So let's say you get doubles on the first dice, doubles on the second dice, doubles on the third dice. Your 3 would make you creation. Your 2 would make you 4. Your 1 would make you spirit. Okay? But you can't get 1 in doubles. You have 2 dice, minimum is 2. Then you take 3, 3, you get 6. Then you take 4, 4, you get 8. Then you get 6, 6, you get 12. All of a sudden you're odd. You were even up to 6. Now it's odd again, because mad is on. Mad man is odd in this earth. Okay? All doubles. 2, 4, 6. And you can't do anything else. 6, 6. On 6 and 6 is 12. Okay? And it creates 3 creation. So you stop there, 2, 4, 6, and you got 9 for birth. So that's why you end up in jail on Monopoly with 3 doubles. And the reason you end up in Monopoly with 3 doubles is because you're all ready to create. You threw the dice 3 times and you throw 3 pairs. It's the pairs and the sticks and pairs, and the pairs and the sticks, the pairs that you eat, it's the pairs that make up the group. Without a pair, you don't got a group. You have 2 dice, you need 2 pair. You got 2 pair, you got 2 jacks and 2 kings. Now you're playing another game and another understanding of life. Oh my God, 25 minutes. The tools, the whole universe is based on, this is the interior carcass, the telephone, and this is the rule book right here. Okay? And in this game, you see this line that joins? This is the one, and there's a line here that joins. But when you get to the center here, the only line can pass is on the outside. The line can cross the path, but you can only go on the outside, and I'm going to write it down. If you don't mind, I'll light up a cigarette because you guys are lucky. I hope I can remember what I'm going to do, because I never tried this before. So I never did it like this before. You see the L it made? I can't go through this unless I'm connecting all the way. Okay? And the same thing for here. I don't touch this. My angle and the beta angle, that's the world. If I want to live, I add on this, and then I add on this. But all corners, like this, if you make 4 of these, okay, and put them the other way, you end up making a square. Because you have the corner and the walls on the corner that got connected. You see, you stand up this piece of paper, here's the corner, and here's the wall. This is the corner that connected to hold up this wall in the center. And then they stabilize with the next wall. You put 4 walls and you create everything. Now, if you want things to work right and you don't have a board that's long enough, you'll bend the corner and put a board right across this way. Okay, that's why on the stop sign they're all cut corners, because they're busy doing something else. Anyways, what I wanted to show, I didn't show at the beginning, is back to this. There's 4 candles and 4, but if you take a look, okay, 1 candle's here, one candle's here, 2 on the inside. Those are the digital dots of life. Digital dots, all digital dots. This is a candelabra. And what does it say on it? Drink tea. Yes, go back to air and water. When the air passes through the ground or into the ocean, you don't see the same colors on the animals below and the animals in the sea. What you see, you saw, and if you see and saw one thing, they're going to be the opposite color of what you would have been, and that's how you can determine who you are based on the colors of the animals and how it's reflected on you. The Asian people are 100% into it. Turkey, for some reason, they have something to do with, they have a highness about them. I don't know what it is, but the Turkey's got a highness. That country did something right in the life, you know. And the same thing goes for Russia. Cosmonauts, which means they take the boat, which means they take the boat in the sky. The sky's the limit. They didn't disguise any limit. They went up to the limit. They went as far as they can go because they're seekers. The Russian seekers, okay? The yellow energy, the radioactivity, okay, is another thing to keep this world going, is radioactivity in it. And although we see it's very little, it does a lot of damage. And it's part of survival of the 2 systems. You come into a world and you choose the body of a person in which the radioactivity, in fact in anything, is no good at all, because it's a vibration and it distorts the elements of chakra. And the elements of YOURANTIA know about this. And that's why we're still running the correctional center, because we can correct all the problems right down here with 100 million scientists. Up there are not many to run, because you know what happens if many run, everybody runs away or one takes over. So it all ends the game, and we're all number 5s in a number 6 world based by number 4. If we don't do 5 right, we end up at 6. That means we're only as good as beta. Why 6 and only as good as beta? Because guess what? We no longer know how to use our mind. We only use our hands now. And beta, well, the yin and the yang, she only uses her mind, and for her, we use our hands. 4 for 1 for 4. 2 thumbs, they become 1. For 4 fingers, 2 pinkies that bring it together. The 2 pinkies. Thank you very much. Raphael 7286. MrTacpans's has taken over for this afternoon. MrTacpans's is sick. What? Number 42? That's angel number, yes. Now he's not sick anymore. Just because you said that number, I reconnected. That was telling me that from nowhere, thinking about no number, what am I going to do? Well, if you're on the Mediterranean on number 41 on Monopoly, in order to get out of bed, you got to go to 42, because 42 is the angle of the spirit center, which means the middle 1 dice, and man, and the percentage of the birth between 2 equals 3 from 1. from one God, from one beta God, from the YOURANTIA system to the beta system. So you see there's many levels of flow giving us the 81 worlds we can live in. Because after that, we just live in 81 worlds. That's the way it works. It's the one spirit and 80. Because in the center, at 11.2, at 45 degrees, you can cut all the corners and go around, which creates your life. So that's why they call it the YOURANTIA world. And on the outside of the universe, it curves. Okay, it curves because it doesn't need you to go any further. It's telling you you're going far from home. Once you hit a curve in the road, it almost means dead end or a U-turn. So it means you're at the limit of the partial makeup of YOURANTIA in your world, and you can go no further. Now, if you enter into another world, it's the same thing. But you can be going into a world that's full of things for the mind, and the 81 worlds is all your brain can handle because of the setup of the mind. Your mind and the telephone are exactly the same, and we always remember 0 to 9 and the telephone. We always remember the 55 letters in the alphabet. In fact, there's over 100 letters in the alphabet. One of the reasons is because when you transfer from A to B, you have to make a mark. Now, depending on the mark you make, is going to tell you what the answer and the difference is. If you're doing this in multiplication or division, you go 1 minus 3, and you got minus 2. But you didn't minus 2 anything because it's only on paper. All you got is something that's a minus. So put it upside down and it'll be straight. You know? If it's minus, it's on the wrong side. So it'll always be plus if you put it on the right side. Because when the answer comes out, it's the answer that becomes the plus of the minus. So that means 10. Because in 10, the 1 is odd, the 0 is in love, because 0 fits to everything. Wherever 0 and 10 fit, that 0 is love. Why? Well, first of all, it's not in love with 1. It's not in love with 2. It's not in love with 3. It's in love with 4. And I forget exactly where I was going with this, because once you make the 4 corners, you can only fall in love with 4. And the 4 card is the first card, okay, that's got 4 of these in each corner. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the 5 has got 4 corners. And the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 all have the same thing. So love is 4 and 5 is 9, and 6 is 15, and 7 is 22 life, and 8 is 30 for the 3 worlds, and 9 is 39 for the 3 kings. King me. You know when you see a maple leaf, or you see the leaf of a flag, it's got 3 and 3 and 3, because that's how it works. Now, I completely forgot everything I said, so that means this cassette is going to make a transfer into the world and realm of the computer world. And I did a little study on the computer world. In fact, I study just about anything and every reason. And you know what I'm going to do for you, because I'm going to do it for myself. Okay, I put 2 lines in here because you know when you mark 5, but if you mark 5 this way, you're actually going 5, 5. 1, 4, 5. Why are you going like that? Because their value of this over here, okay, is a 5. Anyways, now you see these lines. Now watch what happens just by a couple of lines. It doesn't do much, eh? You're in jail. It's halved out. So now that you split it, you have more places to write things. We need to have space in our mind to lift the ball, that it hovers over our head, like the balls in the lottery, because our mind is a lottery. Once you know how to use it, you are a winner. You are a winner of love. 7, what is that again? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I get 19 and 8 is 27, 34, 44, 44, 45. It totals 49. Okay? You're 49 in the 10 world. So 49 and the other world would be 94. So I'm going to go 940. I'm also going to do it the other way because it's 49 times 10. Okay? Because you're in that world. And the diamond card is a Spirit Connect, which connects your angel, the Holy Ghost energy, and you, which means 2.5. So I multiply the 94 by 2.5, and I come up with 2350. Okay, and the 2350 in the calendar would be minus 1420. It's 1,420 years before Jesus. Okay? 14. Okay? And that's a passage road. So the 940 all has to do with the tic-tac-toe. There's 9 positions in tic-tac-toe, and there's only 4 corners. And if you even look at the stamp, do you have any stamps? You go out and buy stamps, look at the corners, okay? It's a U and a U. When you get to the corner, it's like indented on 2 sides, but the corner, okay, has 2 holes, and it's like this, and it's got a hat on it. Each corner is what keeps that stamp together. In fact, I bought some stamps, and I got a stamp and stop and stamp, S-T-A-M-P, map. The stamp is a map, so that means I'd have to study maps, who chose the maps, what year they had the maps, where they used the maps when they came out with the new bicentennial, because the bicentennial is the bicycle, it's the bi of the cent of 10, the Nile, okay, is the Nile River, which brings everything and flows down to the Mediterranean. Now, when you listen to me speak, okay, when it seems I know what I know, but you don't understand, I'm giving you a formation of how the system works. Everything I speak about, I'm trying to explain it in terminology that a human, okay, like me and whoever else is human, of how everything works. So that's why I do it the way I do it. If I'm not giving you the proper explanation, well, I didn't create the system, you know. I'm reading you the system that I go through. And whatever system I go through goes through me, into my hand, and then I have a decision to make. Am I going to create any oil? Will I have an oil spill? I have an oil spill. Well, thanks to Bureau en Gros, I can get an oil spill right here in my pen. When my pen starts leaking and I start going, my friends, the energies inside me is almost like smoking the biggest joint and drinking all that vodka. Now, talking about joints and vodka, okay, is that the Russians, why don't you take a look, all the alcoholic beverages, okay, since they're all spirits, they all have to do with the spirit world of creation, okay? If you think that a word is there and they put a definition next to it, it's because they were together at one point. We have to go back to the togetherness or go away from it and see the tail end. Because it's at the tail, when you know the dupe is out of your rear end, you can wipe out, flush, and get out. You sat down once, you got up once. You pushed it out, and then it came out. First there was a point that was pointing out to come out, and then the last tail, when you go make a dupe, well, the point is pointing in, because you have the last count in the story you tell, and it doesn't matter what kind of bullshit it is, YOURANTIA will swallow it up. And that's why cats eat shit, because now, for what they did in their life, you know what? They want better communication. That's why a woman is so strong today, because she wants to communicate, because beta wants to communicate, and that's what it's all about. So if you seem to be half a fag and half not, it means you got both sides of life in the bucket. Whatever you do with your dick in your hands or whatever else, well, it really doesn't matter. At least you got the 2 sides. Now decide, okay? Because you're not who you are for nothing. At one point in your life, you do have a decision, but after that, you do not, okay? That's you. You are here to readjust the other part of the world. The YOURANTIA is sorry for it, but it's also sorry for the air we breathe. That's why when we go in casinos, they pump air into it. It's for us. I suggest in the next years, if you want to know what's going to go good on the positive, invest in anything under the ground. Because when something passes through the dirt under the ground, the passage cleanses itself. It's Bell Canada. Bring water into your house, fresh water, and soda the water up. Put club soda in your water. Bubble it up. It bubbles up the elements, and the bubbles only create when they have the right elements. And once you get a bubble and it goes inside of you, it's good. Coca-Cola is also good, okay? But you got to bubble everything up. So you have to have water, and you have to have that. You have to have an open spirit. What else do you need? You got to connect to the matrix. You need water, salt, lemon, lime. You have to have the knowledge to be positive, no matter how negative the situation is. It doesn't give you any right to be negative with it. You can go negative just to get positive, okay? But it's in the system. You don't have to be down because of it. It's upsetting. It's upsetting, of course. It's all that upsetting stuff that makes us mad, eh? Holy fuck, again! What the hell? I'm pissed. Well, my cats just finished fighting, and now they're sleeping all together, just like the kids. We grew out of our children's uniform to grow up to be X-Men. And you know what? At the end of the game, they X us off, because who wants somebody with no balls? And that's why when you play the game of tic-tac-toe, if you put only balls into there, the total of an O is 15. 6 times 15 is 90. But that's the birth into the world. So now you take 15 away because you open up the 8 hole, which is 2, 5, and 8. You minus a 15. So from 90 you go to 80 to 75. And then you go it the other way, you get to 75 is a 57. So you get 57, 75, which is in 3 years from now. The Hebrew calendar, the Magen David, Joshua and Abraham, fighting what David was in Goliath, and Goliath was you. YOURANTIA, the zoo we live in, of the mixed up world of twists and ties. And the only reason it's twists and ties, it's like your electrical box and your plumbing. Because they go around, they don't go through pipes and pipes. They connect, okay? They use elbows, they use string, they use everything. They use candle wax, they put white between the gray metal for a sealant. And oh my God, 41. Okay, I don't know what time I'm going to finish right now. I'm going to give you a number, 348, 281. I have no idea what it is. It's off the top of my head, but I do know in the future that number will come back to me. And because I put it into the system, I'm asking the system for that number back with an answer. So the answer won't be the number. The answer will come back with a dash and that number. What will come back, okay, is the actual answer. So it'll say 12392. And then the answer is 41896. And the 96 ends because whatever goes around comes around in this world. 96. How can we do it? We got 6. And how do we do it? I did it very fast. Okay? You see the two, all I'm trying to show you is when you do it, you create an O and a loop. The loop creates the X. Okay? Now you have the XO inside this. These are your strings. Here's your 9 going out down this way, and here's your 6, 9. Here's your X-Man. X times 6 is 60. X times 9 is 90. 90 and 60 is 150. F, Ford 150. F means business. 1. Okay? 150. 100 plus 50. 1 plus 5 is 6. And you start life all over again. Now, if you're confused and you don't understand and you can't follow me, it's okay, because I'm just telling you a story, and whatever you can make out of it, you make out of it. You see here, it's an X. This is a guy running. This is us. You ever see the little thing? That's us, that little thing over here. This thing here is where the head goes. This is the bow tie. This is the Budweiser bow tie. Here's our shoulders, okay, and our arms attached to it. Here's the diamond in the center, and we're running in a bubbly heart. 2 teardrops, a teardrop here and a teardrop here. And for all my life, I looked at teardrops and I knew something was wrong. Because when you remove one side of a teardrop, okay, first of all, there's an element of water that's involved, but when you remove one side or turn it around, it looks like Flintstones, with the Flintstones, be a happy family. You remember at the end they take this big, big, big rib and throw it on the car? Well, that's what it is. A rib is a bone, okay? And it's a transfer. When you throw it on the car and you flip the car over, it's an auto. Auto in French means ride. It also means otter. Otter of the water. Not like the beaver of the lever, because he can go up and above, right? It is the water that makes us everything. The water and the air. In fact, all the 5 major elements. The reason that God is 6 is because He's the 5 major elements, and He's the 6th one. He puts the potion together. He mixes it up. Oh, but there's more. There's the universal elements that go with it, and that's why we end up with 3 dice in life, because God has to have His own 81 worlds, and Beta has to have her own 81 worlds, and we have to have our own 81 worlds. If God's 81 worlds, okay, happens to be 89, because He's His own world. But Beta is 79, and man is 69, because we reverse back to the angel, and we work with them. We all work with somebody else. So we added for each one, okay, either 10, 10, 10 or 1, 1, 1. And we have 1, 1, 1. We have 8 directions around for the angel, 8 directions around for man, times the 1, 1, 1. You end up with 1776, independence of the USA. And now in 2014, okay, 2 plus 1 is 3, and 4 is 7. That means God comes on the 7th number. Okay, the 6, okay, is now you have this. You got to play a game. 2 on the left. On the outside is the 4. You have your 6. Okay. Now you take the center, the 0 and the 1. 0, 1. You have 10. 2014 is actually 2010 4. And 2010 4. Oh my God. Oh my God. I hope this video works. Oh my God. 2010 4. Whatever it is, I know when I listen to this, 2010 4. In French, okay, they say 80, 90 by saying 80 and 10, which means 90. But if you say it in French, it's cat, which means 4, which means a cat. Trust, it's 3. Trust 3. Okay, and then you say the number owns what position it goes in. You say cat, this, cat, you say 1024, 94, which means 94, which is Moses again. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You see, this is Beta's world, and this is man's world. These are the 4 corners of God's world, which make up this 30. But then you have to put the outside. Okay, we're not going to talk about the outside. In French, this says 4, 20, 10, 4, 10, 20. And that's how the world was created. And the French say it. Only at 70 and at 90 do they say it. And 7, 8, 9 in your telephone is the heavens numbers in this world. Okay? They're the heavens numbers. We play in that game. We're supposed to have 4 rows like on the telephone. We only play in 3. We only get the last quarter when we're out of this game. How can you jump into all 3 games at once? It's you, okay? You go to a hockey game, and it's the other team, 1 game. It's you, 1 game, and it's the difference of the thought is the 3rd game is all in your mind of how you're going to do between the 2 teams. You end up being 3 games in 1. And the goaltenders, well, they never take them out of their place, right? They're always left behind the net, and facing the wall. Don't you know the wall? Another brick on the wall. We're all facing the wall, so he's behind the net. So the net is empty. Okay, and that's the way man's life goes. So we're going to end it like this and like that. Jail. Oh yes, another thing about life is when you throw 3 doubles in Monopoly, okay, your creation. When you land on jail, okay, to get out, you need a doubles because it's creation. Doesn't matter what it is. When you're in jail, you need an even number. Okay, when you go to jail, okay, it's an odd number. It's just like that. So you roll doubles, you get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Who do you appreciate? And you appreciate 1 because you can't get 1 on the dice, but you have 2 dice to make the doubles, to make everything even, to get you out. And that's why doubles put you in, and double dice twice, double Dutch dance. Oh my God, you see now the music is coming into this too. Double Dutch dance, okay? That whole song is an expression of partly about the jail we are in. Although jail stinks, jail, if you take away the J, you have AIL, which means old. And it also means garlic. And jail and garlic and vampires, are you getting the connection now? Jail, ale, the ailment of life. We are at 49 minutes. I'm going to give you one more number. 49, 386, 24, 182-6. Pegasus. What is that number about? I have no idea. That's the way I work. If something comes to me, it comes into my head. This is not a prepared situation we're talking here. I just picked up a paper and it says cats and dogs who need a good home. Bob Barker announces, okay, because the spade need no balls, okay, because he is your body and he represents you, but he doesn't represent your balls. So it's a spade, he was spaded, okay, because the balls are added on after. And the cats are neutered, because neuter means birth. 9, new, tear, tear means a tear or a rip, or new earth. And a tear and a rip means you have a baby and it's ripping up your back end and it's coming out. So new tear, to neuter a cat, means to stop the children from coming. It also represents 910. Bob Barker and the game shows. Well, game is very funny because it's a God, angel, man in the E world that spell the word game. It's how you want to play. H-O-W, in the heaven of the birth of all creation is the W, and that's why you don't pronounce the H. When you have a W, it means creation, and it must be heaven. So we don't pronounce the H. And the same thing for the DHT. When you have the thought has come from a place that you don't know. It's all put together. They put GHT together because it's God, heaven of transfer of the information from the matrix system inside the YOURANTIA world into the God world of the beta system, and then down into you. So who wants to be a million? Mil means 1,000. Yon, air. Million air. It's the lines and the air that we breathe that bring us our life. So it's represented in the circle of life, which bring out the dogs and the cats. And that's the reason for Milo the dog and the scruffy beard and Scruffy the dog who wants to protect you. Anyways, in the final balance of our life, Howie Mandel is going to stop picking up the phone. Howie Mandel is going to now give the phone, okay, only to the player. And they're going to discuss with the player, and the banker is going to be obliged to tell the player how come he only offered that much. It's not fair. You only offered me that much. What's your reasoning? I averaged the board. You offered me 60,000, and the average of the board is 128,000. And the banker says you got 2 decisions. Take the money now or risk getting nothing at the end. I don't want to lose. You don't want to lose. This is what I give you. What is the VIG on this? The VIG is the commercials that come in and the sales they make through the show to be able to give you that money. Everybody's got to make money to pass it around. Isn't that what it's all about? Pass the buck around, live life green, stay out of the red. Because once you get into the red, all you're honoring is the money. Because in this world, red is not good. Because it represents, on the stock market, a red bull. But then for them it's good, but if their paper shows up red, then it's no good. So then all in all, it becomes confusing. So for that, I'm confusing myself. 52 minutes, I'll leave it go. It is muster or the meister or the miser, whichever way you want to go. I waste a lot of time saying this shit, right? Well, you know what, I just want to say something that's going to hit the hearts of everybody. And I twiddle around and look, and it's easier to talk about things that are calculated. But when it comes to love, you know what, if I'm big and big, I can hold you and hug you and hide you and protect you from everybody. And that's what the matrix system is about. And Goliath is the system that David, which means the division of the angel life in the Dame, the great Dame. The Dame means the angle of God, the last angle of God, the angle of creation birth. 7286.